morning, I'm Katie Batten.
And I'm Emma Minahan, and today we're going to discuss the Forest Haven Asylum.
The asylum was built in 1925 and was forced to shut down in 1991 due to severe cases of abuse and neglect. The asylum was built in Laurel, Maryland with the intentions of providing a peaceful place for the mentally ill to reside and prosper.
Designed specifically for children, the campus consisted of 22 buildings and 5 dormitories.
The 250-acre state-of-the-art DC training school was also built to teach individuals skills to survive in the real world rather than being institutionalized.
Despite the asylum's good intentions, budget cuts, understaffing, and overcrowding quickly became major issues. Lack of appropriation of funds by Congress led to 100 vacant work positions and only 2 social workers for the 1,300 patients that resided there.
The budget cuts forced them to close all educational and recreational facilities.
Due to the understaffing, patients could not receive adequate medical attention or treatment.
People were sent there who were not even mentally ill but were misunderstood or considered a burden.
For example, the deaf,
Dyslexic,
illiterate,
epileptic,
depressed, and orphans.
The director admitted that 1/3 of patients did not belong there.
The patients suffered horrible abuse and neglect.
The institution did not evolve with modern medicine and performed medical procedures such as botched lobotomies and electroshock therapy.
Patients were often left in diapers, and many were even brought outside naked in groups to be hosed down.
Many residents endured abuses such as being tied down to beds or locked in rooms to suffer.
The buildings were filthy, dimly lighted, uncomfortably hot or cold, and had many safety and fire hazards.
Poor treatment led to the patient's deterioration of mind and body.
Sadly, many residents were locked in rooms and left to die.
Hundreds died of diseases such as aspiration pneumonia due to improper feeding.
When patients died, state authorities would make up fake causes of their deaths so that the real cause wouldn't be identified. The mayor of D.C., Vincent Gray, visited Forest Haven as a psychology student in the 1960s. He called his experience horrifying and the most dehumanizing thing he had ever seen.
Cases of abuse were brought to the D.C. Superior Court in 1972.
The cases lasted for several years and uncovered several instances of mental, physical, and sexual abuse at the institution.
Unfortunately, the judge failed to act on them. One major case was the federal class action lawsuit filed in 1976 by Betty and Harold Evans after they had seen the abuse their daughter had suffered at Forest Haven.
The 1976 lawsuit focused on the unsafe, inadequate, and abusive care and facilities at the Forest Haven Asylum. In 1978, Judge Pratt ordered for Forest Haven to be shut down. However, it continued to operate.
In 1989, the federal government asked for the institution to be held in contempt for not following the court order.
In 1990, a judge gave Forest Haven a deadline of October 1991 to relocate its patients and close.
As a result, in September of 1991, the institution finally closed. It is said that those who died in the hospital now haunt the buildings and the grounds.
Today, security officers guard both entrances to the campus.
The guards are aware that they are guarding something the government does not want seen by the public. When Emma and I tried to visit the asylum, the guards prevented us from viewing any part of it, although they were not fully aware of the horrors they were protecting.
One of the guards we spoke to knew that it was a mental home of sorts and that it was rumored to be haunted. Later on, when we talked to another guard, he said that if we attempted to come back, he would call the police and have us arrested for trespassing. Will the public ever be able to see the asylum in person? Is the institution haunted by those who suffered and died there? Will the government acknowledge their terrible mistake known as the Forest Haven Asylum?
We may never know, but we do hope that a case similar to the Forest Haven Asylum will never occur again.